All right, we're going to continue with Go Local Live. I would like to introduce our first guest. Sara Hiebner is on the board of Child and Family Rhode Island. Sara, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. We're going to start off by talking just a little bit about Child and Family. Been in the community for over 150 years, actually just celebrating that landmark anniversary. I really think it's important just to talk about some of the services that Child and Family brings to not only the Newport community, but to the state overall, because there's so many services that they provide, but if you don't utilize them, then you might not know about them, right?
Absolutely. Just to recap a little bit with that 150-year anniversary, Child and Family started as the home for friendless children. It was an orphanage on School Street in Newport, wow. And it was donated by a local family after seeing the plight of children after the Civil War. Wow. Oftentimes lost their father, may have lost their father and mother. And that was the beginning of Child and Family. And the services that the agency provides have grown throughout the state, not just Newport County, and in response to the needs of the state of Rhode Island.
It's so amazing just to have that history and that perspective, and for an agency and an organization to be around for that long. I mean, what a testament to an organization, right?
Exactly. And, you know, there's nothing we'd like more than to be put out of business.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're not for profit, but it would be wonderful to say the state doesn't have the need. Unfortunately, they do. Services that are provided are everything from early child care to family preservation programs, to in-school treatment, and to elder care. And unfortunately, the need grows each year. It's not diminishing.
And that is unfortunate. What are some of the services that Child and Family provide? You just touched on a few, but talk to me just about some of the services, and then we'll get into some of the programming.
Yeah, well, one of the things that is becoming a real crisis issue is with community care for children. And so unfortunately, there is not even close to enough foster homes in the state of Rhode Island, nor are there enough adoptive families. And oftentimes children from troubling situations through no fault of their own are placed in congregate care because it's the only option. Everyone identifies it as not the best option. Mm-hmm. It is the only option there, and traditionally can cause even greater problems. And then when you look at that and say, our state, not our neighboring states, require those children in care to age out at 18 years old. So imagine an 18-year-old with even the best of backgrounds and circumstances suddenly finding they're on their own at 18. Well, we have children who have been struggling sometimes for multiple years, and then they're on their own at 18. So one of the focuses through Okra Swim, this fundraising effort, is to really be able to have some supports for those folks who are aging out of care, that they have some pocket money, they have some ability to find a place to stay. They're not traveling with a garbage bag full of clothes, yeah, but maybe a suitcase. Things that we really take for granted in our families. And because you said if you don't have the exposure, you might not be aware of the need.
And I find that a really interesting point, because we do see, homelessness is becoming more and more visible throughout our state and throughout our communities, and it can be a problem for people that aren't getting the services that they need, and maybe because they do age out of the system, that can be a true problem. So services like this, being able to provide resources, like you're mentioning, through fundraising efforts, a crucial part of Child and Family.
It really is. And you know, getting the awareness out there, we're really talking a lot about foster care and the need for more foster homes, but it isn't a zero-sum game. You don't have to be all in or all out. You might not be able to be a foster parent. That doesn't mean you can't participate in the program and help foster parents or help foster kids or be a certified babysitter. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of opportunity to help. And we encourage people to contact Child and Family, and we can put you together with an opportunity to help if you have the desire.
I like that, because a lot of people probably think, I can't, I don't have the time, I don't have the commitment, but finding out there are other ways besides either, donations are always appreciated. But if you can't donate money, maybe you can donate time in other ways.
Absolutely. Time and, simple things to take for granted. I heard a foster mom one day, and her foster children had special needs, and she found herself in the drive-thru at a Dunkin' Donuts, and she was very guilty, and she felt, I really shouldn't be spending this $2 on a cup of coffee for myself. It is funds my family needs. And I don't think we ever questioned buying a cup of coffee versus something for our family. So, a donation for a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts can make a big difference for some people.
Sometimes, especially if you're raising kids, or a cup of coffee can go a long way, right?
Absolutely.
We just talked a little bit about the foster care system. What else do you think is very important within child and family? And you mentioned the need for awareness in that. What else do you think are some really big needs within the Rhode Island community?
Well, so family preservation is important to child and family, and to be able to have licensed clinicians get into the family setting at an early enough time to be able to help both the parent or maybe the adolescent, whoever's struggling and having an issue, and they're not seeing eye to eye, because if you can't help them in the beginning stages, it escalates, it becomes a bigger issue for the state, a more expensive issue to try and deal with. So small things like getting counselors in at the beginning and having folks talk on the same level and be able to understand each other can really prevent a lot of problems.
And you did mention that Child and Family offers services. I mean, it's not just for children. A lot of people, I think, go to foster care for child and family. That's just where your brain automatically goes. But you mentioned services for the elderly. Rhode Island has an aging population. What are some of the services that Child and Family offers for the elderly population?
Yep, so Child and Family has matches volunteers with elders just to have someone come into the home and spend time with an elder and talk to them.
So crucial, right? I mean, so crucial. People can be very isolated, and it's tough.
Absolutely, and just get to hear their stories and hear about their background. And sometimes they still have dreams and they still have visions that they want to share with people. Shoveling sidewalks so that and stairs so that our elders can even just get their newspaper without being in jeopardy of slip and fall and causing, again, a lot of bigger problems. And also we have a program where folks are able to get out of, say, maybe a nursing home or a temporary facility that they were in for rehab, but they're not quite ready to be on their own. Yeah. So Child and Family can get some placement in the home for them so they can get out of that more expensive care, get back into their home where they feel more comfortable, but still be safe because they have somebody there looking out for them.
It's really neat that you can provide services for every generation, right? I mean, you don't really run into so many organizations that are able to care for every age on the spectrum.
Absolutely, and I think one of the funnest places to volunteer is Sandpipers, which is the Early Childhood Education Center. It's located in Middletown, and that provides services to the continuum of the community. So they do offer discounted rates for those who need it, and as well as anybody else can be there. If you can get in, there's usually a waiting line. Miss Patty is fantastic.
Hi, Miss Patty.
Miss Patty is wonderful. There's a date night coming up. I know that parents are going to get to go out and their children can be well cared for and have a fun, loving environment. And I'm pretty sure Miss Patty's going to have treats for the little ones when they leave, too. Oh,
that's nice. I hope Miss Patty gets out every now and then, too.
Well,
she probably deserves that.
She certainly does.
No kidding. I really like just what we've talked about so far. Some of the other notable programs, just kind of doing a little bit of research about child and family that people might not know about: substance abuse counseling, school to career guidance, and other general counseling programs. If people are interested in some of those services, how does that work? Do people need to be referred to child and family? Can anybody just go and access these services? How does that work?
Absolutely. The best thing to do is to go onto the website and get information there about the programs and services that they provide. Call the number right in Middletown, and we will set you up with whatever is appropriate for your need. If there's paperwork involved, they're going to walk you through every step of the way.
Because, I mean, I think at a time, especially teenagers, people right now, substance abuse counseling can be so crucial, so vital. Just general counseling, a tough time, going through that spring transitioning into summer, any type of counseling can be so vital in people's lives.
Exactly. And most times, there's school counselors will notify if it's an adolescent having some issues. And that's where plenty of the referrals come from, a school counselor. And Child and Family actually does have folks in some of the schools on Aquidneck Island on a daily basis. So the referrals can come to Child and Family from a variety of reasons, but no family should ever feel like they can't contact directly. They certainly can.
Okay, that's good to know. And I think a lot of people, when you're in a tough situation with a family member, sometimes you feel like you're lost and you don't know where to go. So it's good to know that you can reach out directly. So that's always a nice feeling to have, to know that these services are available at the tip of your finger.
Exactly. And you've got to be in the hands of professionals who will navigate the course for you and with you.
So you've been on the board. What has it been like to you to help work with an organization like this, just from a personal perspective?
It's been enlightening. My sister actually just joined the board as well, and as part of her orientation, she and I went and took a tour of one of the girls' group homes in Middletown. She was very uninitiated to what that may look like. I had, unfortunately, the experience of being there before, and it really does rock you. The girls were proud of their home. They had cleaned it as best they could. Living in that type of care, it's very restrictive. What you can and cannot have is not regulated by Child and Family. It's by the state. And they just don't have a lot to be able to do. So after our tour, I said, what would you like that you don't have here? What's missing? Two of them immediately said a treadmill. We don't get any exercise. Wow. It's not an opportunity. They can't go off on their own. And I thought, what an easy thing for us to do. And we reached out to our friends and family and put together a big drive, and we were able to get a treadmill for the folks. Cool. But there's still a lot of needs, and I don't think you realize what you take for granted until you see how other people are living. You just don't recognize that that's happening in the state. That's happening at Aquidneck Island. It's not, just pockets of inner cities. It's happening everywhere, and it is really easy to help.
I like that. And so there is an opportunity to help coming soon. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's always opportunities to donate or to get involved. I had read, just going on the website, Child and Family is a 501c3 nonprofit, but the annual operating budget I saw on the website is more than $43 million. So how crucial are donations, grants, and fundraisers to keep these programs and services going?
It's really important. The most of that budget is just passed through, so it comes through the state and it goes to the other providers that work with Child and Family. But certain things like the kids aging out, if we don't build a nest egg and a budget to be able to fill that need, if we have 4, 5, or 6 kids aging out each year, they go without. And that's not coming from anywhere else but fundraisers, silent auctions, live auctions, and those are the kinds of things that we really need to have to help sustain young kids in our state.
And so there is a fundraiser that's happening Friday, Okra Swim, and we talked a little bit about it earlier this week. Fashion show, super exciting. It's kind of a fashion event, not just a fashion show, overall fashion event. Pretty exciting, happening at Fort Adams. Tomorrow's Friday,
tomorrow, and I want to give a shout out. Thank you, Fort Adams. I also happen to be on the board of Fort Adams Trust, and they were extremely generous in giving us the location to do this event so we can raise more money. One of the other fulfilling things when working with this type of event, it's a lot of work, but we have a live auction, we have a silent auction, and we go to the community, and I know they get hit up for everything. And the generosity of the people in the community willing to give and to donate for these auctions so we can raise money is really amazing. And it lifts your spirit when people are like, oh, I always give to Child Family. Absolutely. Let us know. I hope you raise a lot of money. And so thank you to everyone in the community that might cringe when they see me calling because they likely know.
Oh, Sarah's calling again.
They likely know what I'm asking for, but they say yes. And the generosity is amazing. And without that, we don't have auction items to raise money with.
And so tickets still available?
Tickets are available. They're no longer being offered online. They've been shut off. They are available. You can call Child and Family. We will be selling tickets at the door. Encourage everybody to come. Pronzi Catering does an amazing job. We've got an open bar. We're going to be dancing on the runway after the show. We're looking forward to having a lot of fun, and there's not a more beautiful spot than Fort Adams, and it's going to be great despite what everyone thinks is going to be beautiful weather.
It'll be super fantastic. Sarah, this has been very enlightening, and I really appreciate you coming on Go Local Live to share and kind of fill everybody in. Again, like I kind of mentioned, if you don't utilize Child and Family Services, you might not know about all the amazing things they're doing within the community and everybody that they're helping. You know, it's not always just about children. They help so many people of so many different ages.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you again for joining us on Go Local Live. Again, if you're interested in tickets, they are still available. Thank you, Sara Hiebner, with on the board of Child and Family. Appreciate